put your defensive player on skates. Crandall showed you how. 5-5 to Thatcher win from behind the arc.
Oh, Jamell Anderson said, no, my brother. I got some hops as well.
Welcome back to the In the Gap podcast. I'm Geno. He's Jamell. We are very pleased to be back after an extremely long hiatus, but off season is the off season. I'm assuming you guys don't either. So here we are. Let's discuss like what the off season looks like for each of us, like week to week, day to day. Obviously, Pat, like you played. Listen, props to you, because I don't think I ever. But yeah, what is that? So how does that come about? And then, like, I guess talk about your timeline with that. Like, how do you go from one season and then jumping into another one?
So, first off, shout out to CEBL. CEBL is probably one of the most fun leagues to play in. Like, it's just a party every game. Like, literally, like. One, you don't practice a ton. Like, it's not like you're in Europe. And
sign me up.
That's all you need to hear.
You play like 20 games in like just over 2 months, and like, so you're traveling, you're on the road, you're with teammates, blah blah blah, like just hanging out, having a good time. And bro, the games are insane. Like, they play in big like hockey arenas. The DJ's spinning the whole game, like the announcers, like there's fire that shoots up from the basket when people dunk it, like, or if you make a three, like flames shoot up from the basket, bro. Honestly, it's just so much fun, bro. Like, so a nice little summer league to play in, but like in terms of timing, like this year I wasn't gonna play. It just like kind of came about. The year I went to Niagara, literally, we had the championship game in the formerly known British Basketball League. RIP to the British Basketball League. So we had the championship game, and then I left like 2 days later, and was into practice like 2 days later. So, so yeah, it's a bit crazy, but nah, it's just fun. Like, it's not really like. It's very different to playing basketball in Europe. So, yeah, a little bit less stressful.
I know for sure I'm getting old, right? Because you had me at no practice. I was like, yo, practice. Sign me up. I'm down for that. And then when you started talking about music playing in the game, I'm like,
not you. Too loud. Too loud
man.
for the old man.
I'm trying to hear all that, like,
Because I did come in halfway through the season, right? I've never done that before for any team. Going into my 7th year, I feel like most people have come in like midway through the season. I'm not sure if you've done it either, Jamell, but it's happened to most people for whatever reason, one reason or another. It's so weird to me over the past like 5 years how basketball terminology has just like gone insane. Like, the amount of names for different actions is getting a little bit ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie, it's getting a little bit ridiculous, because we were going in and they kept talking about, like, we had this play called 3, and they kept talking about, oh yeah, this is our Tatum action. I'm like, what the hell is a Tatum action, bro? Like, I've never heard this before. And then in film it'd be like, oh yeah, they run this Ricky action to a flare, and then like freaking blind pig, and I'm like, bro, like, when did this start? Like, I understand it all, but like, can we just talk normal? Like, coaches, can we just talk normal? Like, can we go back to talking regular?
What? Walk me through the Tatum action. What's the Tatum action? I've never heard this one.
Bro, so the Tatum action is basically the play I used to call for Geno every time I got the ball, which we called away. So I used to just say, oh, away is basically just an away screen from the wing, the big pins down to the wing, come off it, catch the ball, go into a ball screen, going the opposite way.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
guess I don't know.
See,
Tatum does
now
Jason Tatum do this a lot?
I
I
guess
guess
Boston, I don't even know if I'd say they run it. They do. But why wouldn't you just that's just an away screen. Why aren't we just calling this away?
exactly,
Like
bro. Exactly. I don't understand like all the crazy like
yeah, I don't they lost
that's
me with that. Like there's some stuff like okay, if it's something that's like doesn't have a name already or it's not common enough that there's a terminology on it, let's give it a name. Make it so on the fly we can talk about it quickly. There's already a name for that.
exactly,
What
bro.
there's already
Yo,
that's already a thing. Why do we need a
to
new name?
me, to me, it's actually so crazy. And like, I feel like sometimes coaches just run stuff because it sounds cool. Like, there's some actions that are like, yo, we're gonna go, okay, side pick and roll, step up. And he's like, but I don't want you to run the step up. Pitch it to the five. We're gonna go blind pig. I'm like, you just said that because you wanted to say that. Like,
Blind pig, yeah.
that's the only reason we're running this action now is because you wanted to say blind pig and look cool.
In fairness, that's a great name. Like that's a great name. I don't know.
As far as
I'm also a
things go,
big fan of the blind pig action. I think it's very difficult to guard. Uh, I don't know if we need to get to breaking it all down for anybody that doesn't know. Blind pig is a triangle offense concept. So it comes from Phil Jackson, who's running triangle offense with the Bulls and with the Lakers. Um, and it's basically, yeah, like Pat said, you're gonna hit the five and get your guard going downhill, basically on a little pitch here to. But I like it a lot. I also like saying blind pig, so I understand. Like
you're one of
sounds
them,
kind
bro.
of cool.
Gino's one of my
Sounds
ops,
kind of
bro.
cool.
Gino's one of my ops now.
I don't know that we have that in the playbook. I might just, especially if there's a microphone in the huddle, bro. I'm calling blind pig for sure.
No.
So your challenge is all to call that next game.
So, yeah, we gotta figure out a way to work that into our playbook.
Definitely happening. Coach, are they running a
Man.
blind pig? Okay, cool. I got it. T was gonna look at me like, what did he say?
That's the challenge. I just gotta figure out how many times I can work it into the discourse throughout the game. You just like, Coach, are they running blind pig? And they're like, we don't even know what that is. What are you talking about?
What's
We're
blind
just
pig in
running ball
German?
Yo,
screens, bro.
they're gonna say, "Was ist das?"
They-
Oh, yes,
Was
ah.
ist das? Blind pig?
See what blind pig is in
Blind
German.
swine?
Are you checking it out in German, Jamel? You definitely
Oh
are, right?
my goodness, I can't say that. Okay. Illegala Alkoholschlask chunk. That's it. That's my best attempt. That is a word and a half.
Oh
Going,
man.
hey, if you can say that in a game, then I'll be impressed.
They don't run the blind pig in
Then I'll be
Germany.
impressed.
That's they don't run
Because
that.
it's so
They leave
so
the
hard to
action
say.
alone. Yeah, exactly.
That's why.
That's why nobody runs it. They're like, we
Yeah.
can't call that.
No. Waste 24 seconds.
Oh man.
Oh,
But
that's
anyway,
funny.
yeah. So going to the new team mid-season and trying like they're all just rattling off all these terms, and I'm just sat there like trying to pretend like I know, and like trying to catch the film. Oh, okay, that's the Tatum action. That's what that is.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was just interesting for me.
That's funny you mentioned it. One of the conversations I had with my coach was like that I felt like our terminology was important and we had to make sure coming into the season, like in preseason, everybody's calling everything the same thing. Like,
Mm.
because I feel like we were a little lenient, like as a team on it last year. And so, obviously you figure it out, but it's like if everybody's on the same page, it takes us less time to figure out what this other person is asking us to do or what the
Mm.
coach is asking us. Like the coach should be able to say something and boom, everybody understands it. In the middle of the game, I should be able to communicate an idea and everybody understands it because we're all using the same word. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
even something as simple as if I want somebody to go set a pin down, I shouldn't say pin down. You should know pin down means pin down and not look to me and say, okay, I'm about to go set a down screen. Sounds dumb. It's
Yeah.
the same thing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like let's all be on the same page so there's no need for like miscommunication. Like, so that's funny that like you bring up the terminology because I'm
Yeah.
big on like, but like I said, some of that, there's no Tatum action, bro. That's not a thing. That's just in a
It's
way
not
screen.
real.
I'm not. That's not real, bro. That's not.
I've never had a season where somebody hasn't turned around at some point in the huddle and be like, yo, I'm not calling it that, bro. Hey, just call it ice. If I say ice, just send him that way. I'm not calling it Blue Angel. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Every year, bro. Every year, I guarantee it. Every year.
Yeah.
There's always something that the coach says, we're going to call it this. And somebody on the team is like, yo, I'm not calling it that. That's long. I'm just
That
going to
sounds
say
like Connor Washington to me.
this.
For sure.
That sounds like Connor.
For
I
sure.
miss
I can see
Connor.
Connor just, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. I'm happy that Spanulis has an action named after him because it's fun to
Bro,
say.
it's also one
Tatum,
of the
nobody wants to
best.
say Tatum.
Bro, Spanulis is one of the best actions out there, in my opinion. You know
Facts,
why? Because if
bro.
I'm coming,
Facts.
if
So
I'm
hard to
coming
guard.
up and you go under, I'm gonna shoot it. And if you
Shooting.
chase, you gotta go all the way around, and I'm going downhill.
Now we're going
Bro,
downhill. Tough, bro.
it is a great action.
It's tough. And like, it's fun to say, bro. Don't get me in a
Spanulis.
huddle with a mic and give me the opportunity to call a Spanulis. Don't give me the
Nobody
chance. It's
wants
gonna happen.
nobody wants to run
Yeah.
Spanulis when I'm guarding. Let's be honest. That's the only time that nobody wants to run Spanulis. Nobody.
Nah, too big.
Too physical.
Nope.
This, you know what? This where I get in trouble. Like that happens. Like you're guarding me. I'm just gonna try the back door, but you're gonna
Yeah.
take away the back door. So I'm gonna try to do it again because I'm gonna be like, I'm not fighting with him to make it all the way to the top of the key. I'm not fighting with Jamell Anderson from under the rim to the top of the key. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna back cut 3 times in a row, and then my big has to go find somebody else to hand the ball off to.
The other thing is Jamel could just front, and he's big enough too that you just wouldn't be able to get the ball over the top for a layup either. It'd just be like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna be like back doors, but they're not gonna be effective.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, Jamel's big man is just yelling, "Dead!" My big man shoots a step back.
Damn. Oh man.
I'm not gonna lie. The best compliment I ever received, I won't say who it was, but somebody tried to score. It didn't work out. It went out of bounds in front of their coach. And I heard him say something to the coach. The coach said something back. Then he answered him back again. I turned, and the coach was like, well, what are you going at him for? I was like, yeah, yeah.
They're
He's
trying to
I
get
don't
number
know.
somebody else.
one.
What are you going against him for?
Yeah,
Okay,
feel it.
so Jamel, how did in the off season do you manage like obviously fatherhood and then being a husband, but also like you have your job. You
You have
gotta
to get creative.
stay sharp.
You
Mm-hmm.
gotta get creative. Like back in the day, I would just plan it out. I'd be like, right, first couple of weeks, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to start working out here. I'm going to start going to those runs, blah, 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 blah. No, all of that is out the window. Now it's like you take it day to day. Like
Right.
what time am I going to work out today? Let's not even worry about what the workout is. Yeah. Let's just figure out what time I can get away for like an hour or 2 hours to work out. So yeah, bro, like I worked out with Stefan Gill. Pat, you know Steph. Did some
Manchester
enhanced
legend, by
performance.
the way. Shout out Stefan Gill. Yeah.
Legend. What? He's one of the few people I know that can tell you to do the craziest exercise you've ever seen, but also like demonstrate it perfectly. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess it is doable then. So yeah, I worked out with Steph quite a lot. Spent a lot of time with David Lloyd's, which is kind of cool. Used to
Shout out
spar,
David Lloyd's.
obviously the weight room. Shout out David Lloyd's.
The Manchester legend.
And another Manchester legend, facts. And then yeah, just get it how you live, man. Like I organised the runs in Manchester. I don't know how. Like when did I become Mr. Manchester? So
When you got
trying to
old.
get
Yep.
what's that? Once I got old, is that what you said?
Yeah. How you're old, you're responsible.
No, that's not what it is. I'm just the only one that's organised, and I don't mind saying that. I'll say it.
That sounds
Right?
like an old.
That sounds
Yo.
like an old person.
I've
Trust
always
me,
been organized.
trust me. I've been in some of those
Nah,
group
these young
chats, bro.
folks can't get sit there stuff together. And I,
I don't know.
Bro,
Yeah, I
some of these
guess.
Manchester pickup group chats are actually hilarious, bro. They're the funniest things to be a part of. Like, there'll be one guy like, yeah, let's get this run going, blah blah blah. And you always got like two guys like, yeah, I'm down. There's like 5 guys who are down to go every week, but then the rest of them, you have no idea. Some of them just don't even
yeah,
respond, and then will still
that's
show
one of
up,
my
bro.
favorite
Like what?
British basketball anecdotes. Like even going back to the episode we did like about the differences like
Mm.
growing up. That's definitely one of my favorite. Like 'cause it's just like, come on, guys, come on, let's just play basketball.
Like,
Exactly.
I get it, yeah. If you've got like an off-season program that you're like trying to stick to, and I don't know, like you've got somewhere that you're going for a run every week. Like when I say run, I mean scrimmage. I get it,
Hmm.
yeah. Or you're coming back from injury or whatever. But like, I just don't understand why I have to like drag people to the gym. I never
Bro,
understand it.
Yeah, that's
it's
so odd
hilarious.
to me because like
It's
even
hilarious.
I'm somebody like in the off season, like I don't play a lot of pickup anymore. Like I
Mm.
used to. Now I'm just like I'm gonna get in the gym, especially like you said, Jamel, like with fatherhood, you got to be creative. Like I work out before the girls wake up so
Yeah,
that I can have like the full day with them. I don't really want to miss time because we miss time during the season. Like in the off
yeah,
season, I want to be there for as much as I can. So I work out in the morning. Even like as a person who doesn't really like to play pickup, who has a strict time frame I like to stick to, if I was working out and I see 9 other guys come in the gym,
You're playing
like I'm
pickup.
about
You
to
don't have a
like
choice.
I'm
Yeah.
playing, I'm playing, I'm playing. In worst case, maybe I don't feel like it. Enough people know if I just say something to Geno, he'll want to play. If I just talk shit for 6 seconds, I can get Geno to come play. Like, but I mean,
Mm.
even like for example, like I worked out at my high school this summer, and I think it was probably in I don't know, maybe it was July, like early July, mid July. Um, the coach is like, "Hey, I want my guys to get like some up and down, but they go against each other all the time. So I want to have you, a couple older guys, like come in, whatever. Would you be down to come in an hour earlier to do that, and then we work out? Cool, bet I'm there. And I don't even like playing pickup, but for me, I took it as an opportunity. Like, guess what? Now I don't have to do any conditioning later on today. Like, this is my running.
Facts.
I'm not about to hit no hills. I'm not gonna get on the bike. I'm gonna run up and down. And so, like, I took it as like, okay, am I playing the best competition in a bunch of high schoolers? No, but I can make sure every time possession changes, I sprint down the floor. I can make sure that I play defense, and that's what I'm gonna do that to get in shape. So for me, like, it's just crazy to hear like somebody be at the gym and then be like, "No, I'm good. I'm not about to play 5-on-5."
Yo, it's insane.
Hey, I just realized
Nothing.
I've not like updated on like where we're at. It's been a while since we've done this. Things have
Yeah.
This is true, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
run
that's a
that.
good
Let's
point.
run that off real quick.
even P's changed.
Let's
You know
run
what I
that off
mean?
real quick. Pete, lead us
Okay,
off. Lead us off.
Right.
Come on,
So
Pete.
I've had a
Lead
quiet
us off. Talk about the new digs.
summer. Nothing happening. No, basically, part of Manchester Basketball, the newest franchise in the newest league.
Pressing the applause button on my board.
It's
There's
been
gotta be
kind
an
of crazy,
applause
but
sound.
we've got an investor who's a really nice guy. Obviously, Manchester starting again as a franchise, so we've had a lot of work to do. Recruiting coaches, accommodation, names, registering with Basketball England, all the rest of it. So yeah, starting a club from scratch, and that's been what we've been up to. Shout out Dom, who's been on the front end of doing everything. So yeah, but we're here, and we'll have a team out there in a couple of weeks when the trophies start. So that's been most of my summer. I've also been traveling around a bit, States, Olympics, all the rest of it.
You love to see it, man. Can't afford
I
to
know.
lose another franchise in the league. So, I'm very, very happy that Manchester's back. Pete's putting Manny on the map, as they would say.
Yeah, Jamel.
That's all
Fear
you
the
need to
thing.
say.
Short Nation. Da-na. Or as Harper likes to say, baby shark do 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 do. Like, that's a jam. What? When I signed in, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a match
She
made in
likes that.
heaven. What? Yo, baby, and she's she's
Okay,
doing all this.
man.
Yeah.
This
What?
man Pete is having too much fun, man.
I had that one
I
prepped.
can't hear anything.
You can hear
I don't
it.
hear any of this. No.
Well, I had the
Oh,
Jaws
It was
wow.
music,
better
bro.
that you couldn't hear it, to be honest.
Are
You were
you
just
fine with
continuing
me?
singing Baby Shark, bro.
He was just talking behind
Baby
it.
shark do 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 do. Yeah. So yeah, I signed for the Sheffield Sharks. Probably been a long time coming, actually, but in all honesty. I think we both agreed that it's weird that we never actually sat down and had a conversation before. We're just kind of like passing ships. And yeah, that's me for this year. I'm representing the Sharks. They've been amazing, absolutely amazing. In every way, they've been so good. Yeah, I'm very grateful, very, very grateful to be playing for this club.
Nice.
And I'm not just saying
What a guy.
podcast either. It's coming from the heart.
Same old, same old.
You even
Nothing
kept
new
his
for
game and
me.
shit.
Yeah, a teammate was selling it, and he was like, "You wanna buy it?" I was like, "Yeah, whatever, bro." All right, cool, sure. I don't care.
Pat, where you at?
Yeah, bro. I'm also in the same place, in the same house. Didn't move any of my stuff out.
That's gotta be
And
nice.
it's a blessing. Look, literally, look, you still see the on air sign right there?
Yeah, we're
Hey,
on
there it
air.
is.
Yeah,
Perfect.
man. We're still at it another year. And hopefully, we can do even better than last year. And yeah, I'm excited.
Me and Pat have already played each other, by the way.
Oh yeah, we did.
It's one.
Who won?
It's 1-0 to Pat. It's 1-0 to Pat. But Pat was
So,
chilling.
we go again.
Geno,
We go again tomorrow.
Pat was chilling. I remember, right? They ran this play. Remember, you probably remember this, Pat. And I ended up on the point guard. So I'm like, all right, whatever, here we go. And I know the clock's winding down, so I know he's about to get into his tweet, behind the back, cross, spin. He did everything. He gave me like 6 moves. He ended up with a little bit of space. He didn't take it. He passed it, and I think it went out of bounds. I remember thinking, like this. I looked over, Pat's on the bench like this. Big chilling. I'm like, how is this happening? I don't understand. Why am I out here busting my ass and Pat sat there on the bench like,
You want to be chilling?
this is going well. Up 7 or 8. Things are good. So annoying.
Sorry,
And then
my
we
dog
claw
is
it
going
back.
crazy.
We claw it back. And this guy comes in. Wow. And now we're back to down 6. I'm pretty sure it might have been Pat that made the next shot too. Ah, man. I hate this guy.
To
I
be
actually
honest,
hate
bro,
him.
preseason games are some of my favorite games because you can turn the ball over as many times as you want. Well, when you've been on a team for a year already, maybe don't do that if you're brand new on a team. But like you can turn it over, you can make mistakes, miss shots, and like usually you don't play more than 20 minutes anyway, so there's not that much opportunity to mess up. So you just come in, you're chilling, you take a few shots, try and get some rhythm, and then sit back down. That was honestly my mindset. And then in the last like quarter, it was like, all right, now it's time to like let's turn up a little bit. But like, yeah, you're just trying to get your rhythm back.
Man, it's been I'm just listening, like, so you talk about Pat and like, he's chilling, come in, get a few shots up, get the lead, go sit down. Nah, bro, we grind. Like, I think it's just the German way, like, like it's not preseason. We're just playing a season before the season starts. That's all. We're just playing 5 regular season games before our season starts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Gino.
There's,
That is
there's
where
been
we're at.
there's been no element of our games that's like felt like the besides the fact that like we haven't put in all our sets and stuff. But even then it's like I think we went to play Bakken Bears in a preseason game.
Good team.
And like we beat the crap out of them, but
Wow.
we went in with one set. We played one set. We had one set. Everything else was like, all right, we're just gonna play transition and secondary. But because we only had one set, it's like, no, we really have to defend, and then we really have to push the ball. Because if we slow down, we don't have no sets to play. So everything is just so fast, like, and then each week, like, you add a little bit more. But then, like, our second game was against Hamburg, was like kind of a rivalry, like a derby. Or pretty close. We're like 2 hours away. We finished 9th last year. They finished 10th. Our head coach used to coach there. The head coach there was his assistant. So it's a big deal. The arena was sold out. Like it was a regular season game. And then who else did we play? We played I don't even remember who we played in the third game. I should, but I don't.
That's how you know. That's how you know you've been playing a lot of preseason
Yo,
games.
for
man.
real.
That's
Like I don't even know. I don't remember who we played the third game. Fourth game we played Bonn. Again, just 2 really like good teams. Everybody's playing hard. Fifth game we played Hamburg again. And it was like our club's like fan day or whatever. So the arena was sold out. And like we're grinding, bro. Practice is a grind. The games are a grind. Now I'm just happy to be like out of the preseason, not because it's gonna get any harder or any easier. It's gonna be the same. Just now the games actually count. Like now you win or lose and something happens to your record. So
Yeah.
but
There's at least some
it's been
incentive for you being fresh going into the games. Like in
yeah,
preseason, that's the
it's
one
like,
thing that
okay.
bothers me. It's like they don't care about the games. So it's like we just did a full 2-hour practice today and we got a game tomorrow. Like who's going hard
Right,
as
right. The
hell.
games don't matter.
So
You're
it's
like the
the
practice
games don't
before is
matter.
crazy.
It's funny though, isn't it? Everyone's looking at each other like, "You tired? Yeah, I'm tired, bro. We still going? Yeah, we're still going. Damn. Wants to go again? Like what?
Bro, for
That's
us,
the worst
for
when
me,
you
it's
try
like
you try not to look at the clock, but then you look up and you're like, damn, in 2 hours.
bro, for me, it's like as soon as you get into the locker room after, like if a team had like the locker room mic'd up, some dudes would be off the team so quick. Like it's just you sit down, it's like, man, what the hell were we doing today, bro? Like why did we do this drill for 30 minutes? I was tired as hell. I want to have a quick conversation about USA basketball, especially with you, Geno.
We got video
We got video. You got video.
of
We
me.
got video.
Great. World
Yeah.
fucking champs.
This is Olympic. Well, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the next Olympics?
World fucking champs.
Here we go.
Obviously,
That's
the
a
next
good question.
Olympics.
It was
The next ones are in
something
LA.
that came up like I think is on everybody's mind, like in the basketball world. It's something that came up like on my team as soon as the game was over, like the next day. They were like, oh, okay, cool. That was a great game. Like loved watching the final and the semifinal. But then it was like, all right, if you're Team USA, what now? And I don't know. I think it opens up like, and this was a great tournament. But I think in the future, I think guys have to take the World Cup more seriously. Obviously, when it comes to like the qualifying tournaments and stuff, like it's just never going to happen because the NBA doesn't take the FIBA breaks. So those guys are never going to be able to play in anything outside of the summer.
but like they have to at least get reps in the World Cup, and then probably every summer, I mean, at least take a week or two and go to camp. Like,
Yeah.
otherwise, they're just not going to win. Like, that just is what it is. This team had enough talent to just, all right, we'll show up. We got Bron, we
Mm-hmm.
got Steph, we got KD. They can bail us out. We got Devin Booker had a great tournament, like
Amazing.
as a role, like accepting a role, like played great. AD, you never know with his health. I don't know. Age-wise, he could play in the next tournament. Health-wise, you never know. Bam played good.
Embiid.
Drew Holiday, he's going to be up there. Is he
Mm-hmm.
going to play? Don't know. Assume he'll get the invite. But what does Drew Holiday look like in, when is it, 2028? Like,
LA 28.
that's what the team's going to look a lot different. I don't know. I mean, I guess we can, like, maybe that'll be a fun thing. We can sit here and brainstorm who we think's on the team. I think Tatum for sure. I think Bam for
Yeah.
sure. I think Booker for sure. Those three.
Edwards
Let me
for
pull
sure,
up.
100%.
Who else? And Edwards for sure. That's 4 guys. Does Embiid play again? Who knows? He's already said he don't. If Cameroon makes it, he's not. So,
It's actually crazy because like I remember what I was watching the Serbia game, which is, by the way, one of the best games of basketball I think I've ever seen in my life.
yeah, that was.
But I was
crazy.
watching that game and I was like, obviously the end of that game, and I'm like, what happens if Steph Curry is not on this court? Like, is that just it? Like, the USA just lose? I'm like, hold on, does someone else just like is that someone else just going crazy instead of Steph, or is that like the USA just gonna lose? You know what I'm saying?
Is it doable? Yeah. Can a guy like Ant get hot? Yeah. Can he get Steph hot? No. Like, no, nobody
Facts.
can. Yeah, all right. Who else is on this roster? Jalen Brunson is a guy that's been mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Derek White had an okay tournament. I mean, a pretty good tournament as a role guy. I got to assume he would get the invite again.
Jaylen Brown.
Who knows?
Well, why the
I'm
hell
assuming-
not? I don't get it.
I'm assuming he would get invited. Does he feel spited and want to go?
I don't
know.
get it. Explain to me why Jaylen Brown doesn't make that team.
I don't know if he would want to. I don't know if you were following, but he was like upset about not making this team. And then when
Very
Kawhi
upset.
went down, they went with Derek White instead of Jaylen Brown. When Kawhi pulled out, so he was saying that part of it was Nike. Obviously, Nike is Team USA's main sponsor. He's like, well, I'm not a Nike guy, so Nike didn't want me on the team. And then media kind of ran with some of what he was saying, and now it was pitting him against his teammate, saying he's not a good teammate, not being happy for his teammate making the team. So if he genuinely feels spited, he could come, 4 years from now, they're like, hey, we want you. And he's just like, nah, it's cool. I'm going to go take a vacation for a month instead of going to Los Angeles. So
it's a tough decision, right? Every year. For them.
It's crazy. And now you got France on the come up.
Yeah, I mean, they got
France
guys
is
and they got
right
young
on the
guys.
heels. Yeah, exactly. They're 2 number 1 picks 2 years in a row.
You got
France,
France,
it could be...
you got Germany, Spain's always going to be solid. Serbia, Slovenia could just get hot and get enough guys to give Luka a chance. There's a lot of teams. Australia is always going to find a way to be solid. There's a lot of teams that are, and they're putting together teams too. That's the other thing that goes into it. I think we're seeing now too. You can't just throw guys together. Like this year, okay, you can throw guys together because the guys you're throwing together are 3 of the best ever, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think this is the last year you can just be like, all right, guys, go put the ball in the hoop.
Right.
Win us the game.
Because,
Bring
I
home
mean,
the gold. And
like I'm looking at the roster.
yeah.
Steph Curry, for sure, doesn't play again, I don't think. LeBron, done. KD, probably done. Again, Joel Embiid, you don't know. Anthony Davis, I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know if you can count on him being healthy. Same with Embiid, really. So then you're looking at returners of Ant Edwards, Derek White, Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum, maybe Drew
You think
Holiday.
Derek White's going to be on the next one?
I think he played well enough to give himself a shot. I think the challenge is again, putting together a team. So even this year, they're saying we would rather have Derek White for this team than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I also want to get into this a little bit because, how do you feel if you're Jason Tatum? They mentioned this on every podcast. This is on every podcast. But if you're sat on the bench, the best player on the best team in the NBA, first team All NBA, and your 2 teammates who you're, in my opinion, and I'm sure everyone else's opinion, obviously better than, they're getting off the bench before you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In my opinion, that was the one thing USA did, the coaching staff did wrong. Because at some point,
You think so?
I always think basketball is about okay, I get you need a guy to go in and play defense, blah blah blah. But how different is Derek White playing defense to Jason Tatum playing defense? If you take the balance of the defense and the offense, how much different is that really? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In my opinion, I would, if I'm Team USA coach, I'm playing the best 5 guys till they figure it out. And when they figure it out, they'll be the best team by far. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's my take anyway. That's my take.
Strategy.
I'm playing Steph, KD, Jason Tatum, LeBron James, and Embiid or AD.
And
Best 5
then
players.
eventually they'll figure it out.
Eventually they'll figure it out, and they'll be the freaking monsters.
That's valid.
That's my TED talk.
Jamel, what you think? What you
I disagree with a lot of things that you guys just said. I just don't want to interrupt.
Go ahead. You haven't looked sold on anything that's been said.
Not really. The talent pool that you can put on a USA team is so vast, and from a pool of so many people, yeah, that it's, in my opinion, is so much more difficult with the pools that all these other countries have to pick from to consistently compete with the USA. You guys kind of already said it. You were like, oh, they had that game, and oh, they've got a few guys coming up. Yeah, cool. But for every one guy that you've got that's like a star, the
Right.
USA is birthing 100. No, that's an exaggeration, but maybe 10, 15.
I think
if you're
that's a
gonna be
valid point. You can't tell me 4 years ago everybody was like, "Oh, Anthony Edwards is going to be a real contributor on Team USA."
Yeah,
I
this is
wouldn't
true.
have seen it 4 years ago. Same way Halliburton.
So
Same
many.
way. Yeah, that's a
There's
good point.
so
That's a
many
good point.
guys, and
Yeah, but then
there's
again,
guys at the US.
you look at the best players in the world right now, and none of them are really American.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that. In the NBA, so these players that we're talking about are in the NBA, surrounded by Americans, surrounded by lots of great American basketball players, the ones that win anyway. Now, obviously, I know there's a lot of teams with a lot of Europeans on it, but if you take away their American stars, where are they at now? Are they top 5? Did they go to the finals? I don't know.
Oh.
I'm just asking the question. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about the best European players versus the best US players in the NBA, who is winning that game? That's
Right
what I
now,
want
I
to
I'd say
don't
know.
the
know.
U.S. Right now, I'd say the U.S.
I'm
They
saying
have to.
I'm saying it is. If you played USA versus the world in the NBA, which they did in
Yeah.
the All-Star game,
Hmm.
I don't know who's
Find
winning.
out who the world
No,
champion is.
that's cheating though.
As long as they still
No,
have those big three, I'm going U.S.
no, that's cheating though. And even then, I agree with Geno, they would still win. But that's cheating. That's not what we're talking about. USA
Yeah,
versus
this is
the
true.
best Spanish in the NBA, which is not enough, right? I'm
That is
agreeing,
true.
not enough. That to me is why it would just never go in the other way.
Yeah, but then in 4 years, if you play USA versus the best French team,
Yeah,
what's to say in
but
FIBA rules too, which obviously changed a
yeah,
lot of things.
yeah.
I don't
But
know.
in 4 years, there'll be some next generation of you. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony Edwards hasn't peaked yet. Well, we hope he
Right.
hasn't.
This is true.
You know, like
This is true.
this
I
is what I'm
think.
saying. The pool in the USA is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think, and it kind of touches on what both of y'all are saying, that like what the real challenge is kind of like I mentioned, like they have to find a way to not necessarily get the 11 or 12 best guys, but you got to get the 11 or 12 guys that can play together the best. Like you got to make the best team.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
like, to me, it's not like the dream team no more where you just say, hey, we're going to put the best 12 people in the world
yeah,
and what can y'all do?
We're
Because these
good.
other teams,
Yeah.
these other countries can play basketball. Like,
Mm.
and
yeah,
to me, that's where, like, to come back to what you were talking about, Pat, the Tatum thing. Like, I think Derek White, there's the defensive aspect of it 100%. But I think there's also he doesn't need the ball. He's a good mover off the
True.
ball, a good offensive rebounder. And then the other thing that I think is like really, really like undervalued when you're playing with other people that can score is like getting off of it quick. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy, and it didn't take any reprogramming or a different mindset because that's who he is all the time. That's who he is in the regular season. That's who he is for his job. Is that I'm going to catch?
Mm.
I've either got shot, drive, or I'm passing. Whereas you've got Tatum, who, and again, insanely talented, right? When he's the guy, one of the best in the world, one of the best in the NBA at it. The problem is when you're playing with Steph, when you're playing with KD, when you're playing with LeBron, when you're playing with Embiid, when maybe Ant has it going, then maybe there's going to be times where you're not the guy. And who can you be in those minutes? And my takeaway, and again, I don't know what was going on in practice. I didn't sit and watch every minute of every game. But what I did see is like he's maybe not a net positive in those minutes when he doesn't have, all of this and can do all of the Jason Tatum stuff that we're used to seeing. So
Yeah.
if you're not bringing that, then maybe it's like, hey, let's go with a guy who we already know can do all these things. And then on the other side of that, you have a guy like Booker, right? Like we all know what Devin Booker does for the Suns in the regular season. But he came out and was a completely different player in this tournament. And it's funny, I think it went viral, the tweet that he had where it was like
I'll do it.
somebody was saying, oh, on this roster, like, yeah, they're going to have this, but to play in FIBA, you need a guy who can and he's like, I'll do it. And he came out and did it. And I was like, yo, that's
Facts.
tough. That's tough.
Facts.
But
I
I'm sure,
agree.
like,
I agree
maybe
that
not you
is like a
because
skill set
you're
too.
Pat Whelan, so maybe you've never been in that spot, But I feel like we've probably been in spots where we're like, we got to alter our game a little bit. Maybe we have to be a little bit more like get off of it and be a ball mover, right? Like it's difficult. Like it's hard to adjust to that. And so I think in that moment, they were just like, we just got to go with the guys who have shown they can do it right now. And I mean, I guess it worked out, but it'll be interesting to see because I think the same thing in this next tournament coming up. I think Jason Tatum will have a chance to be Jason Tatum on another roster. But I think also there's going to be guys who got to fill those roles. And that's where I think I see like the level maybe not being where it is now. One of the stars, because again, the stars were the three best players of this era. And then too of like Anthony Edwards as a fifth option is a crazy fifth option.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be Team USA's fifth, sixth guy in 2028? Like it has to be a guy, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah, but this is what you're saying. Like, this is why they need to play more games together.
Yeah,
because
that's
like,
why. And like Jamell was saying, like the pool is so big, like that you could easily like, oh, we need to get this guy, we need to get this guy, but you're not gonna know until you put all these guys together and you're playing and see how it fits. And because yeah, I'm a little concerned. I won't lie, I'm a little concerned. Like,
but I think right, if you were to put those 5 guys on the floor who I mentioned earlier, eventually they'd figure it out. They'd be like, okay, in this situation, this is who needs the ball. If they had played enough games together, I think they would have figured it out. But like, this is why I'm so high on like France, Serbia, Spain, whoever else, is because like all their guys play Eurobasket. They play World Cup and they play Olympics. The guys from the USA just play together like once every 4 years. These guys are playing together at least 3 times out of every 4 years. Three summers out of every 4. You know what I'm saying? So like, if the USA played together 3 summers out of every 4, I really think they'd be like that team. They'd be like damn near unbeatable in FIBA basketball. But like you said, like you mentioned earlier, like the fact that Jason Tatum and like even Anthony Edwards, bro, they were taking like the worst FIBA shots possible.
Right.
3 dribble, like post up, fade away, way past the mid range shots. And I was like, bro, this is why you're losing, because those are the shots you shoot in the NBA because you get 30 of them, but you can't shoot those shots here, like, because you're only gonna get 10 shots in a game. And I don't know. I just feel like if they played more FIBA games, they'd be able to figure it out, and then the best 5 players could play, and I think they'd be way tougher to beat. But when you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, yeah, definitely easier to beat. But I do also think at some point Europe's catching up, man, especially when it comes to FIBA. Like, they're right on the heels. But I don't know, maybe we said this in the past also in like 2012. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean the talent's there. Like you said, the teams play together. I think 2028 is going to be a really interesting like measuring stick. I think everybody was looking forward to this year of like, okay, let's see, is everybody catching up, especially after the World Cup. But I think it's hard to get a gauge when you still have Steph, Bron, and KD. Like, they're just going to do that. So like, now that they're probably not going to play in the next one, I think now we'll really see, okay, take those 3 generational guys out. Now what does it look like? And I think eventually it'll get closer to football, where like there's a handful of good teams. Any year, any team can get it. Any team can be playing their best going into the tournament. And I think it'll be extremely entertaining for basketball fans. No, we'll make it a game. You just send us out whenever you think the outro is done.
It started yet?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for listening. It's been a while. Damn, I was too soon, wasn't I?
No, that was like right
You
on.
nailed
That's
it,
actually
bro.
crazy.
You went like that as it went down.
You're all just looking at me like, no. Thanks for listening. It's been great to have you guys back on my laptop screen, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I missed you. Pat, see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
That's a wrap.
Love it. Love it.
And Jamell could definitely hear that outro. We were
swear.
mesmerized
That was
by the
crazy.
timing.
No, there's no
Did I
way.
time
It
it
went
right?
like that as it went.
Bro, I swear on my life I couldn't hear it.
As soon as the music stopped, you started talking.
Literally.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that was money.
Nailed it.